Alright guys, thanks for tuning in iCup TV. It'll be your epic and awesome and fun caster Fitz here. Now you guys are tuning in iCup Clan League Season 20, Week number 3, between uPro Legends, uPro Legends multi-gaming team versus wOk Clan, if what I understand of it. This is wOk. Yep, yeah, this is wOk. And now, let's introduce these players. The map is on Python, and it is a 2v2. So let's go by this way. So let's go by wOk Clan first. So spawning in on the north part, it will be wOk's Moxie, and then spawning in the bottom it will be wOk's Yansk. Now I've seen Yansk a couple times, but I haven't really paid much attention. But I'm going to try to figure out what he's going to be doing for most of this. Now that is wOk, so it's actually going to be like cross positions on 2v2, so it's going to make you very, very hard, but I'll get into that in a second. Now, for uPro, spawning in the left position, or on the bottom, in the left position right here, it will be the teal Protoss v1cent. You can check in the overlay. It's just a weird way to spell it. I'm just going to call them incent. And then something about pinging over here, but and then the purple Zerg will be Xedo. uPro Xedo. So now it's going to be TZ versus PZ. Now, of what I've seen in this kind of matchup, oftentimes you kind of have their own ZVZ going, and especially on this map where both Zergs are on the south side of the map, you might just have like both Zergs kind of battling each other out in ZVZ in their own right. We've had Yavlataran kind of even confirm that as well. It's just kind of its own thing while the other players start to tech up. I've seen a couple of games where Terran's able to sit back up at 2 base, get a pretty big bio army. Most of the time we see Terran fail in this matchup when they go mech. I've seen it work in bio, but that's just my experience of what I've seen in my limited casting and limited expertise, if you could even say that, for 2v2. So, and it looks like we're going to be seeing Moxie going to be going for 2 racks opening, so it looks like more of a bio route, which I agree with. I always prefer bio. I play StarCraft 2 and competitively, not Brood War, but same principle goes for either game. It gives you more mobility, which is the playstyle that I always like to do. I like to do consistent drops and etc., which is kind of my playstyle. And in 2v2, where there's consistent aggression, where you're going to be able to hide around, like go in the back and then do some economic damage, if you're able to do guaranteed economic damage to the drop, like, it's insane, especially if you do it to the Zerg, where they have sometimes difficulty doing drops, especially behind the mineral line when they don't have lurker tech. But they will have Muta out, but we're going to be seeing fast Muta probably coming out of Xedo here for sure. And then compared to Yanks here, he's going to be doing the exact same thing, so we're seeing the exact same builds. They're just going to be opening with Speedling if they got it. They should be getting Speedling upgraded if it's not already done. No, actually, no, I guess they're just saving. Maybe you don't get Speedling, but it's a choice to go if you'd like to. And we're going to be seeing a creep colony down, just in case any kind of Ling run-by is happening. And now, Protoss, let's not leave him out. 2 gateway into a 4, so it looks like he's going to be turtling up, it looks like. Or getting upgrades, but I think it's more of a turtling position. And for Moxie, or not for Moxie, sorry. For v1cent, I wouldn't, let's switch to v1cent. Yeah, v1cent or incent, I wouldn't agree with that, but I think you could tech up with getting units. I don't think you need to invest into cannons per se, but what have you. Might be because Muta might be just going to the close by air positions over here. So it's kind of interesting, because if you also look at it this way, I mean, it's the ZVZ in its own right here. I mean, we're also seeing incent helping out with that one Zelda over there, just making sure it's impossible for the oh, wait, I'm sorry about the it's just for Yanks to get out of his base right now. But he's getting up creep colonies, and he's getting up, Spire. But 3 Zealots are going to be a formidable opponent right here, especially with that. But looks like Yanks will be okay. Doesn't want to engage, doesn't want to lose his Lings, and he doesn't need to. But like I was saying, though, it's kind of interesting to think of where both players could just go for the Muta harass and just go take out their opponent. I mean, keep in mind, I mean, he's going mainly bio, which is okay. And a map like where Python, where there's a big gap where you can put Marines and stuff, which is not, so it's much easier to kill off any kind of Muta harass, at least in this space per se. In a way, this time not even balanced, because you can actually get stuff behind your minerals here where you can't do it here, which I guess Python would be a quote-unquote balanced map in that regards. But Terran's gonna have a much easier time compared to what, or rather, Xedo. I'm trying to remember this question. Xedo is going to have a difficult time actually doing meter harass because the Marines can get back here, versus where Yanks is going to have a little bit more difficulty going for meter harass because there isn't that much room behind here. But hey, what have you, I was just pointing out some other things right here. But still no Muta out yet, I don't think. So there's a Muta right there. No, it's not. And actually, we're going to be seeing... I'm trying to remember these players' names. I'm going by their colors. Incent's going to be putting out 3 cannons, so actually, that's probably the reason. Yeah, he's turtling out pretty hardcore right now. Finally getting his gas, finally probably putting it on in Cybercore eventually. Which, I mean, while the Terran's been, you know, consistently making off their bases, I mean, Yanks has been independent, has been able to hold off, and, I mean, that's the benefit to a very well-played, you know, team. And also, I wanna quickly mention here, I mean, I'm looking at the stats of up to week 7 right now, and right now, wOk.3's in number 3 position for Division V2, and uPro Legends Multi-Gaming is actually number 4, so they're actually pretty equal to each other. They're both 4 and 3. I mean, they're both. I mean, actually, wOk.3 is 6 and 1. So we'll see if wOk's actually going to lose this this series in general. But that's just the overall statistics, and it's 22 points to 21 actually, and just kind of showing that even the wins don't actually necessarily mean that you're going to get this many points, but. Just wanted to simply play that out there, but yeah, wOk.3 is actually not doing too bad right now. And I did have a friend on here that, but anyway, so here we go. The on his own right. We're gonna be seeing Xedo's Muta. There's so many. Xedo has so many. Muta right here has found a sweet spot as well. Not really only in range of 1 something right now, and someone's going up. And Yanks is taking so much economic damage right here. It's absolutely ridiculous. Got to get up some Scourge right here. He might be better off getting up a Macro Hatch, but you know, interesting enough, I was gonna say neither player got it, but we're seeing Xedo actually getting up his Macro Hatch now. For Moxie here. Moxie's not doing terribly bad. He's starting to get out some factor tech, but here's the Bio Force. I believe he's getting +1. No, just started +1. So, literally speaking, just gotten +1. He has Fire Bats. I mean, Bio is going to have somewhat of a difficult time getting up a ramp, especially with Zealots and Cannons. So this Bio Army can't necessarily go up a ramp, but it's giving wOk.3, you know, map patrol, denying scouting, denying any kind of Muta going across the map right here. And in a way, he could probably just go into Yank's base here, which he kind of needs to do right here. He needs to reinforce. But, I mean, it's kind of also showing, you know, the difficult thing of the nature of 2v2 and Brood War is that, you know, unlike StarCraft 2, where you have, like, the same spawn locations, for example, if this was a 2v2 map, most likely, you know, one team would spawn in the south and one team would spawn in the north. Because, I mean, how do you defend, you know, across the map? It's like cross positions and there's rushing them. It just doesn't work. I mean, look how long it took for that Bio Army to get through. And he has a single drone. Now he's at 3 drones. Like, this is really looking really bad for Yanks right here. And in a way, I mean, I feel like it's evened out, because to say that Incent went for the worst kind of opening possible to get the least, like, delaying the tech as far as possible, and is rushing 2 DTs to try to make a comeback here. I mean, in a way, they're very secure. There's four cans at each base. Finally, Incent's going to be taking an expansion here. Moxie is still off of 1 base. And, you know, wOk.3's on the back foot, but Moxie is so far in tech. I mean, is he getting, 3 barracks? I mean, he has a much bigger army supply compared to, you know, 41 supply of the Zerg and 50, actually, you know, Protest is actually pretty high. Mainly because of a lot of Zealots, but these aren't going to do too much, as he's going to have to do a lot, and these Muta are going to be kind of annoying. Oh, they might be able to, he's going to be skipping. How many Mutas is going to be losing? 1 Marine for 1 Muta, that's a nice trade for Moxie right there. Did I ever tell you that Moxie, I'm not sure if you guys have ever had in your country, because I know in the United States it's different, but not everything has the same product. But oh, DT's gonna be out. Oh, but the scan has been had enough duration to actually see it. But we'll be able to double scan again. We'll not have enough orbitals, but he's gonna be able to scan again. And then DT will be making his way over here. Does he have enough for another scan? He does that for 1 more scan. You're gonna be coming in here, and the DT will die, even wasting a scan there, but actually denying that expansion coming out of Incent right there, which is just securing. It's just definitely having a wOk.3. If that base went up and was operational, things would look very, very good. Because like I was saying, Incent went for the latest possible tech he can go. He was off of 2 gateways. He was getting up 4 cannons, which is 158 cannons in general. Oh, he's not being able to scan. Why is he? Oh, this is actually... Oh, my goodness. That's 7-8. His whole biome is getting completely decimated by one single DT. Oh, my goodness. And, yeah, things are not looking good, but he's getting... he's going Marine Tank, which is an interesting comp, just because of the Muta. Tanks... Well, tanks are good against Protoss, but, we'll see. But Yansk is slowly... He's producing Muta and he has 5 drones. Like, he needs to produce... He needs to produce drones. Like, he needs... Like, that's, like, his #1 priority here. I mean, we also need to see that the problem is right now, what we're seeing, Xedo go for right now is these Muta are being very, very annoying. The problem with tanks is that they're very susceptible to Muta, and that's why normally you get them in ZVT for the early starts in the game if you want them. Oh, but the tanks are vulnerable here. It only takes 4 slices to get rid of that, and with 2 DTs, he's not going to be able to scan. He needs to get those time senses up very quickly. He's starting to get up. So this DT threat is going to be very, very annoying, but the problem is there's kind of been a gang attack right now. We're going to be seeing a smaller amount of Muta coming out of Yansk. So Yansk is not really going to be benefiting that much right now. His best bet, while he's not being attacked, is just drone up as much as possible. Get a macro hash down, just drone up as much as possible, because that's the best thing he's going to be able to do here. Moxie is doing his best ability to try to, do as much, harass and etc. that he can. But, keeping that in mind as well, the fact of the matter is that he can't do that much. It's 2 players against 1. This base is operational now. Both players are going to be off of 2 base, fairly shortly. So, yeah. Alright, sorry about that. I was just trying to double check I was actually recording this game. But sometimes I press F9 and it doesn't record. But we will be seeing a side hustle finally coming out of Moxie here. And finally I'm starting to remember these players' names here. Yansk is, trying to determine what his playstyle is as he's bunkering in very, very hard. He just needs to do these drones. He's producing... I know 2v2 has the mindset that you need to constantly producing more, but when you're at such a disadvantage, you need to get that drone count up. And, even the drone count for the ahead Zerg, in a way, is still very minimal. The only reason why he's getting the natural is just, well, probably getting on the low ground, getting a better secured location, but also to get that second gas for Muta. And, there's the other interesting... Why don't we put down a pylon? But here we go. Good to seizing up right here. Marines are going to be staying over here. Oh, my goodness. Oh! The side goes down. And, oh, man. And we just start shutting away at the pylon in the middle of the stream. And Zel's not going to be able to get through that at all. And Yansk should be helping to reinforce his Muta are being kicked off, which, again, his Muta really aren't going to serve much of a purpose, because a Muta on Muta battle, to be completely honest, Xedo's going to win just because he has higher Muta counts. Also there's going to be storms available, and Moxie's yet to be off of 2 base. Now, 1 base play is very, very good. I do it a lot of the time here, but the important thing to note though is off of 1 base. You have a timing window against an expanding opponent until their macro starts kicking in. Now in 2v2, it's an interesting case, because does that actually apply? Because for the Protoss, it is applying. That looks like a standard. Oh my goodness! Look at the storm going down. Storm. wOk clan's just whole armies just completely getting wrecked over right now. And I can't even bear to watch it right now. So, I think wOk clan's pretty much lost this game now. 1 base also has, a difficulty actually replacing an army. But, Bio can be replenished fairly quickly, but, that was like 1 storm. They completely just decimated the entire army. Please produce drones, Yansk. Come on. But like I was saying, though, Protoss is looking like a standard 1v1, 2 base Protoss with full saturation. With really delayed tech. But it would be a very awkward 1v1 if this was the stage of the game after, 15 minutes in the game. But the fact of the matter is that he's actually fully saturating 2 bases. Zerg isn't, but Zerg's going to be producing mass Muta, while, this is allowing the Protoss to tech up, which is, this is the problem. Like I was saying, Protoss even take a 3rd base right now. It's feeling pretty gutsy right now. And, Terran, Terran's in their full tech tree right now. Keep in mind they're off of 1 base. He's nearly mined out on his main base, which is one of the problems of, fully saturating your base. Not to say that you should macro efficiently, but, where you're not going to be producing anything else besides Muta, you don't really need that extra income for the time being. So, I mean, you could produce lings, but they're pretty much worthless in the early stages of the game, so it'd just be stockpiled up anyway. And why would you waste your larvae on drones when you could be doing that? That's probably the mindset that they're thinking of. The problem is his muta are absolutely worthless right now, as he's A, so far behind, and B, that he's just going to have such a disadvantage. I mean, we might even see upgrades coming out of the Xerg Spire for Xedo. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Xedo. uPro. I'm really hoping I'm spelling that right for you, or pronouncing it right. But we're going to be seeing a uPro going to be started advancing a little bit here, getting center map control. And this is, I mean, the one thing is, like, once you get that center map control, what do you do? Because you can no longer help out your opponent here. I mean, this is all what Moxie can help out Yansk here. So, for example, if they're, I don't know why they're attacking Moxie here when he's a more bunkered in person. I mean, they're literally bunkered in. He has like three. He has like three. Literally, it's stimming. He's stimming in the bunker, but that's a lot of muta right here. We go. Here we go, man. Here we go. He's gonna be ringing down two of the bunkers so far. Here we go. And here we go again. Here we go. Storm is going down. Absolutely worth the storm going down, but then we're just seeing muta just doing so much stuff in there. What to do? Muta's BMing right there. GG from wOk clan in general, but more specifically Moxie. And I think Moxie played very, very well. I think Yansk just got harassed, and it just shows what it just snowballs in 2v2. Once your opponent's behind, it just really gets very, very difficult to deal with. And I mean, especially, I mean, also if you even like analyze the Zerg versus Zerg aspect, I mean, go back to a ZVZ. What happens when 3 or 4 drones are killed? That's half your like income right there. It's not like 3 or 4 drones, 15 minutes in the game in standard like TVZ. It's ZVZ, which means you're going to be significantly delayed, and you're not going to want to produce drones because you want to make your limited larvae into muta. So in that regards, I mean, he was so far behind in the 1v1 aspect, and then you're adding 2 more players in the mix, where now Moxie has to go defend Yanks, which puts him out of position on his base, puts him out of position where he has to produce more units when he could have center map control and actually go take his own expand. And what we ended up seeing was that he was kind of doing both. I mean, he didn't have, a small force back at Yanks bases, which I guess fended off any kind of aggro that would be drawn to Yanks because he's so weak at this point in time. But I mean, I guess the one decision thing that I'm a little questioning coming out of uPro was, why would they go attack Moxie that would be the most well defended? I mean, they were able to steamroll right through it, but I mean, just putting that in mind, I mean, what's with that? But so be it, what have you. So that was a very interesting game, nevertheless, and wOk clan did lose, but we'll see if they can make another comeback here, because 2v2s are interesting, and hopefully I can actually remember these players' names, but I was going by their colors, so we'll see if we can actually remember the game. So we'll be on to game number 2, guys, so that means series number 1, week number 3 between uPro, or uPro, what is it name? uPro, oh, I'm forgetting their name. I forget their team name. uPro something. Multi-gaming something. It's on the overlay. Versus wOk clan. They won. uPro won game 1. So thanks guys for watching, and have a nice day.